Okay. Testing 1, 2, 3. This is Don Wedding, and this is the summer quarter for 422 machine learning and artificial intelligence. And this is the year 2022, and this is our sync session. So introducing myself, I'm Don Wedding, and please feel free to call me Don if you're comfortable doing that. But I pretty much answer to anything you guys want to call me. So what I just want to do today is I want to get you out of here as quickly as is possible. And so I'll try to, keep this quick. But at the same time, I also want to alert you that after this class at 9 o'clock my time, which would be 8 o'clock your time, I'm going to be doing another sync session because I'm also teaching capstone. So if anybody wants to hang around, you can sit in on that and see what capstone is like, get yourself a head start. So before we go through the class, does anybody have questions, comments? I know I'll answer a question that was asked to me before I started recording. Oh, go ahead. You go first.
I got a question.
Okay, go ahead.
So you mentioned the capstone and that's right around the corner. Is that an assumption that you're making? Because it's not around the corner for me.
Not for you. I mean, eventually, some students
okay.
are. Some students
like, well,
take
were
this
you
and
expecting me to be much further in the program than I am, or okay?
No, don't worry. So one of the questions that I had from one of the students on the call here was asking what the expectation of Python knowledge was, and I said, okay, what I would expect for you to have is maybe a C- knowledge. If you don't have to be an expert at Python, but boy, it sure would help if you had some knowledge of it. If you've got zero knowledge of Python, probably that's not, this might not be a smart class for you to be taking right about now. One other thing before I started going through the class shell is that, oh, incidentally, got to stop for a second. I'm wearing a hat here because if I don't, the light's going to bounce off my bald head and blind all of you people. So, I'm not being rude. I'm being considerate. Okay. Anyway, so going back to Python, some people here from previous knowledge will, be fans of using Anaconda, Python, and then using the Anaconda wrapper around that. I'm not a fan of that, but you can use anything you want. Okay, if you want to use Anaconda, if you want to use Jupyter Notebooks, I'm trying to teach this class as I teach it. I'm trying to teach it using the most generic, vanilla, bare bones Python. The reason why I want to do that is because a couple of reasons. One of which is that I'm trying to, again, some students are new to Python. They may not be familiar with Anaconda or Jupyter Notebooks. I'm just going to stick with whatever you download Python. You're going to get, I'll get to you in a second, Sebastian, thank you. But we have, Python comes with idle, which is just a generic editor to use for Python. You can use anything you want. I don't care. I'm just trying to keep this vanilla. Another secondary reason is back when I'm in the corporate world, sometimes you go to a company and they'll say, yeah, you can use Python, but our IT people will not let you use Anaconda. And if you don't know how to use, pip to download and, files or blah, 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 or you can't use idle, then you're going to be in trouble. So you have to at least have a knowledge of the vanilla stuff. Sebastian, you had a question, and then Edwin, you have a question, and then we'll get started.
No, I think I'd just second that because I horked up my machine pretty good. I had Anaconda, and then I went try to just have the vanilla Python, and it jumbled my system up pretty good because Anaconda is pretty greedy as to the files.
Yep.
And so going backwards was a nightmare. So I'm reinstalling the OS as we speak.
Yeah, I didn't want to get political, but if you want to know my thoughts, I think Anaconda's bloatware. It's just, it fills up your hard drive. I'm not a fan of it, but some people are, and hey, I could be wrong. So, you use what you want to use, but when you hand in stuff, I can't read you know, people who decide they want to use Jupyter notebooks, please at least export, either give me a PDF or a HTML, something that I can read. I really don't want to take your Jupyter notebook, download it, and then boot up Jupyter notebook and see what you're doing. It just takes a lot of time. So please be considerate and give me a PDF or something that I can read to see your stuff. So anyways, let me share my screen and we'll walk through, and please just interrupt as I'm talking here, because I get on a roll and then okay, just a sec. I think I'm going to stop sharing. I got to be 1 second here to open this up. Okay. I think I have everything. Sometimes Zoom gets a little finicky, so let me try sharing my screen again. Can you guys see my screen? Anybody?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
perfect. Okay. I got this messy desktop here. Okay, here we go. So here is our class shell. Now, first of all, let me explain how the class is organized. I'm not a big fan of having you guys do a project every single week, because then you're too busy, rushing to get these things done. So I have these things in 2 and 3 week cadences. So you have a little bit of time to get these done and to learn and digest the material. And what I also am doing is I have 2 data sets that I'm going to use throughout the class. And I'm using one as an insurance data set, and the other one is a loan or a lending data set. And I'm going to, and these are real world data sets. They're from long ago, but they're still very relevant today. I think they're from like 1999 or something like that. And this is data of like who's going to default on a loan. And this data is going to have categorical data, like what's your job. It's going to have outliers. It's going to have missing values. It's real ugly, messy stuff, just like you're going to get in the real world. So what we're going to do is we're going to first, in unit 1, we're going to scrub this data. We're going to put it into a format that can be used for analysis. Then in unit 2, we're going to take and use decision trees and tree-based models to determine who's going to crash their car, what's it going to cost me, who's going to default on a loan, how much are they going to lose, that kind of thing. So we're going to use that for the second thing. Now, for decision trees, it's not just going to be a simple cart decision tree. It's going to be decision trees, random forest, gradient boosting, the whole flavor of decision trees, all of the whole family. Then we're going to move into regression. So we're going to do, so now you've just solved the problem with trees. Now we're going to solve the same thing with regression. We're going to say, okay, who's going to crash their car? We're going to use logistic regression, yes or no, and linear regression, what's it going to cost me? So we're going to use that. And then we're going to move on to neural networks, and we're going to solve the same problem one more time with neural networks. Now, if you are new to Python, or you are new to building predictive models, if you just do 1, 2, 3, and 4, you're going to have enough that you're going to have a good foundation for building predictive models. So if you got no background in this 1, 2, 3, and 4, that's going to get you through. And there's enough points there that you can get your A. Okay, I know that's what you're all worried about. Getting an A for me is not hard. I've got a lot of bonus assignments and stuff like that. The trick, success in my class is people who go and push themselves to the limit, okay? Because so if you're new, I designed this class is designed for people who have lots of Python knowledge and limited Python knowledge. They've got lots of machine learning knowledge and very little. I have the whole universe of students are coming through. So I have to make the class fit all sizes. So if you're new, this is what you're going to want to focus on. Now, also, I've got these little quick one-off assignments here. These are like, one is called data transformations. I show you how to do a standardization and normalization of your data, okay? That's a really useful thing. If you don't know how to do that, it's not the end of the world, so it's not required, but I would recommend anybody who's a serious student and really wants to push themselves, go out here and grab yourself 25 bonus points. It's free points. It's pretty easy. And you can use this when you're using the other assignments. Principal component analysis. You won't use that very often in the real world, but boy, it's kind of a convenient thing to know how to do. Again, this is another bonus assignment. I recommend the serious students push yourself to do this. K-means clustering. This is actually a great technique that nobody uses in the real world. And I'm going to show you how to do it. It's really simple. It's very useful. Additionally, I've got some bonus neural network assignments. Okay, this is one where you try to using neural networks to decide when people handwrite digits. They're saying, okay, I've got, they write the number 2, 3, and 4 or whatever, and then I give you a data set that has pictures of like shoes and dresses and shirts, and you're going to use this same neural network to identify if you're looking at a picture of a shirt or a pair of pants. It's kind of a neat little project, and it's very educational. And then, of course, the crowning achievement is I've got one, and I've got this problem, and I show you how to solve this. And you get pictures of dogs and cats, and you decide if it's a dog or a cat. And let me see if I can find that just a sec. Let's see. Give me 1 second here. Does anybody have any questions while I'm fervently looking for these dogs and cat pictures?
Yeah, Don, when you said that nobody uses k-means clustering, I got the impression that you thought people really should be using k-means clustering.
Oh,
why
yeah.
isn't it?
No. I'm sorry. Everybody should use it. Everybody should use it, but nobody does. And the reason why nobody does is that clustering, and you're talking to a guy who knows a lot about clustering. The problem with clustering is it's taught so badly that it's so complicated, nobody knows how to use it, or they can't, or they teach you how to do it, but they don't teach you how to do it well. Okay. The trick to being a good at clustering is you have to be a little bit logical, a little bit creative, and really lazy. The problem is that most people aren't lazy. They start putting overly complex things into their clusters, and it's so and nobody understands what the heck they're looking at, and they're like, well, this is garbage, and they throw it away. No, clusters are great, but you got to keep them simple. Okay, does that answer your question? Okay, so let me show you the holy grail. This is what you're going for in this class, is to get to this guy right here, where I've got a bunch of pictures of cats. Okay, I mean, and this is like, this cat's sitting on a carpet, and this cat's in a hammock, and this cat's just sitting on a pillow, and this one's in a cage. And then we got over here, we got a bunch of dogs, this dog is barking at you, and this one is I don't know, running or something, whatever. And so we're going to use convolutional neural networks to figure out if it's a dog or a cat. And I think I have one of these already trained. I'll show you. It just let me see. Menu. This is probably, yep, that's what I'm looking for. And I'm about to show you that I have a menu program here that I've written. I don't talk about this in the class, but if anybody wants some massive bingo bonus points, learn to use PyQt5. And when you do your, if you do this program. Okay, so here, I've got this little menu here, and I'm going to drag my neural network on there. Whoops. And this is where's my cat dog? There it is. Did I drag it on there? whoops. Forget it. I'm gonna go to my skin one instead. See, I should have probably thought about doing this before I actually, I'm looking for my code. I had the code here someplace. Let me try one more time and then I'm just going to declare defeat. So who else has got a question while I'm looking for what I'm looking for?
Hi, Professor. So I was going through some of your some of the lectures, and I was actually going through some of the code, and I got started on assignment 1, and I'm having a key value error on a missing value imputation, but I think I'll just email you about that.
Okay. You know what, guys, I'm gonna have to, I'm sorry, I can't find, I think I was doing housekeeping here and I think I deleted all my stuff that I was gonna show you, so I'm sorry about that. Okay, forget that, let's go back to our class. Trust me, it worked. Okay, so I might show you at the end. I think I have it in a Jupyter notebook. But okay, so going back to who was just asking me a question just a minute ago.
Oh, me.
Who's me?
Edwin, sorry.
Edwin, sorry, Edwin. Okay, yeah, I can't see the screen. I'm looking at my screen here. Okay, so Edwin has kind of an interesting thing that I want to bring up is that the way this class is going to be designed is that this is it. This is your sync session, and then you're going to get a lot of lectures. So let's open up Unit 1, and I have some lectures here. So you click on the lectures, and I've got some sample code here. And here's your data. Here's a data dictionary. And then I have a lecture, and I have the code that I'm creating. And then I got another lecture and some code, and et cetera, et cetera. So that's what it is. That's mostly, and I walk you through step by step on this stuff. And so after that, my purpose is to grade stuff. And then the other thing that I'm doing is when you run into problems like Edwin's here, you're going to contact me or you're going to contact our friendly neighborhood TA, Logan, okay? And he and I both are going to just find one of us and send us your code and ask your questions, okay? And we can help you debug this stuff. Now, if you're falling asleep, wake up, because I got to tell you something. Sometimes students don't bother. They think, well, Don has some pretty good code here. I can just use that and forget the lecture. So they don't even know what they're doing. They're just cutting and pasting and just trying to make it up as they go along. It doesn't end well. I mean, this code is mostly complete, but it's not complete. I mean, you still have to do some work. And also I'm doing a lecture for one data set. I'm giving you a different data set. So watch the videos, okay? Now, if you have a problem, send it to me and or send it to Logan, and we will try to help you debug these things, okay? That's what we're here for. And Logan is caught in traffic, and he may join us in a little bit.
Yep, I'm here, Don.
Oh, Logan, talk to me,
Yep.
Logan.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just made it here. Nice to meet everyone. Edwin, great question you had there about your key value error. We always have, folks that run into issues like that over time. But I guess I'm going to wrap up here and just go to the beginning and give a quick intro to myself. I went through the program here at Northwestern a few years back. My main background has been in supply chain and logistics. I worked in the FedEx organization for 7.5 years. Switched jobs recently this past January. So I went from an analytics role on the finance and pricing side at FedEx to transitioning into a true data science role at a major hospital system here in Cleveland, Ohio, where I'm based, called University Hospitals, under the Rainbow Babies and Children's Organization. And I can speak to the program and the quality of the education that you guys get. It's what you put into it The program does set you up for success, but you have to put forth that effort, and you'll eventually be able to reach your goals, whether that's something like me, graduating about a year and a half ago, and eventually finding that right role that was the perfect fit for me, that I got through the education and my prior experience. So, I mean, the biggest thing I can say is don't jump on that first opportunity that you get if it doesn't make sense. Going through this program, you guys are all very, very much near the end here, I think, with 422, or you're at least midway. I would say just, take your time and learn as much as you can, and, make sure you weed out those opportunities that come up throughout the course of your program here. Make sure you choose that right fit, because you will get opportunities before you're done graduating. It's a very good program, but like Dr. Wedding said here, one of the most important things that, the class can do here is go through the lecture materials. And again, I'm going to give Don some props here, but he painstakingly recreates, the code to an extent that's something that's very similar that you're going to be doing in the assignment. So if you watch the videos, thoroughly read through the code line by line by line, and actually type the code. Don't just copy and paste it, actually type the code. Let it become internalized to you. And the materials will seem much less difficult at that point, and you'll be very successful in this class. It's very possible to get an A if you put the effort towards it. And don't stress out about each and every individual assignment. Reach out to me if you're having problems. I'll go ahead and help you try to troubleshoot the code and point you in the right direction. We don't typically write the code for the students because we really want them to learn. So we'll do every best effort we can to help make you successful from the TA perspective, and point you in the right direction. And Dr. Wedding here provides plenty of opportunities for bonus. So I wouldn't just do it just to get the A. I do it for the learning perspective. There's so much depth of knowledge you can gain from this class by doing the additional bonus assignments that, it pays dividends down the road to something you can refer to, when you go to solve a problem in industry or in another class. You'll come back and thinking about, okay, I did something similar to this. Let me go back and look at how I solved it and reference that. So that's another important aspect. I encourage everybody that's here on the call to go ahead and hop into a sync session that I'm going to host here. And Dr. Wedding, as long as you're still fine with it, I'll host a sync session here in about 2 to 3 weeks, where it's going to be a TED Talk. And I'm going to challenge the class here to, go ahead and spend just 5 minutes, find something that interests you within the data science realm or something that's analytics related. And I'm going to set up a sync session that's live, where you have to come and you have to present to the rest of the class here. So it won't just be 422, it'll be the folks in 498 as well that I also TA for. And it's a great opportunity to network, get to meet some other kids in the program, some other adults in the program, other students in the program, other professionals. So no matter, where you're at in the program, or your background, or your tenure in what you're doing, it's a great opportunity to meet folks and learn something new. So it's a lot of fun. Usually we have 15 to 20 students at minimum show up. I've started putting out a sign-up sheet. So when you see the sign-up sheet come out, I just beg that you sign up for it, because those spots fill up very quick. And sometimes this sync session of mine that's designed to last about an hour and a half, 2 hours, sometimes lasts significantly longer than that, because we get a lot of folks that show up. And the folks that sign up on the sheet, I do give priority to in terms of going first in this. So again, this is one of my favorite classes. I love 422. I also love 498. And you made the right choice here by taking it with Dr. Wedding. I had him as well for my capstone. And again, I'm not just saying this to blow smoke, but he was my favorite professor and still remains that to this day. So everyone here made a great decision, and I look forward to working with you and getting to know you.
Well, thanks a lot. And one other thing, when I'm going to be gone next week, and so I'll have limited access to the computers. Any questions you can send to Logan. And if you need like extensions or anything like that, like, oh, gee, I need more time, ask Logan. He can say yes. He's got whatever he says goes. So, don't, if you can't get a hold of me, Logan is the answer right there. Let me go back to the thing, the class shell. I'll just walk through real fast. Okay, so here's how it works. You come in here, this will be Unit 1 is data preparation. I've got all the
You're not
lectures.
showing your screen, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm not sharing my screen?
No.
Oh, let me share, sorry. You can see it now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So anyways, so let's just quickly look over here. Let's quickly, the syllabus, let's open that guy up real fast. Now you'll notice it's a little different this quarter than previous quarters, and that's because we needed, I needed to be consistent with the other classes. So I used to have 1,000 points, you know, my whole class was out of 1,000 points, but then they said, no, 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 you have to make it out of 600 points. So I went through and I had to change everything. But okay, so here we go. This is, okay, first of all, step one, this is me. This is my email and this is my personal email. If you need to contact me, email both of them, okay? Because sometimes I'm at a customer site, I consult in my day job, and if I'm there, I don't have access to Northwestern. Send me both of them. Also, this is my home office and this is my cell phone. If you need to call me, please do that. If I can answer, I will. If not, leave a message. I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. Also, if you have a question, I also would appreciate if you posted them to the discussion board, and then Logan and I can answer them there as well, because if we answer it for one, everybody gets the answer. When can you call me? You can call me 24/7, 365 days a year. I would appreciate it if you don't call me at 3 in the morning on a Sunday, okay? But if it's an emergency, and by emergency, if it's important to you, it's important to me. You call me, if I'm awake, I will answer the phone and we're fine, okay? But again, please don't do that unless you really have to. But you know, I get calls, people, things happen and you need to talk with me, you call me, okay? Let's see.
Same with me as well, everyone. I put in the chat, I put my cell phone if you guys want to text me during the day. I don't always have great reception if I'm in the hospital that given day or, you know, walking the floors or something. It just depends. So you can text me. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can, or email me. But I'll also put my information on Canvas as well. So I'll get back to you as soon as I can, usually by that evening or the next morning if it's in the evening. But feel free to call me if it's an emergency or something else is coming up.
Okay. And also, unlike me, Logan does like to get phone calls at 3 in the morning on Sunday.
Yes,
So
I do.
and he just likes to talk just for no reason. Just call him just to chew the fat. I'm just kidding, everyone. Okay. Also, in all the other classes, these are the required textbooks. Okay. There is no required textbook in my class. If you want to get these books, I'm sure they are perfectly fine, but I'm now a believer that most of the material that you can get from, you know, the lectures I'm putting together, there's online resources. This is going to be spending a lot of money that you probably don't want to spend, but I'm sure these are great books. I just am not teaching from any of them, okay? Python is our language here. Oh, if anybody's fallen asleep, wake up, I got something for you here. We do everything in Python, but if you have access to another language or package, for example, R or SAS or, you know, whatever, Go, if you want to recreate any or all of these projects, or some of it, part of it, all of it in a different language, you can do that and I'll give you bonus points. Okay, so you can, in fact, I highly recommend doing that. It's great to see the strength of Python and its weaknesses by doing the same assignment with another language, okay? The only thing I ask of you is if you do a bonus assignment and you do your write-up real fast, I would like it if you would, in great big bold letters, Don, I did some bonus work and this is what I did and here is the bonus work. Because I've got so many of these to grade and then students work ahead and some students work behind, I'm jumping all over the place. I can very easily miss it, okay? So you need to do that. Now, when you do a write-up, we'll talk about what I'm looking for in when you do the projects, but we'll get to that in a moment. But we do it in Python. It's optional to use Jupyter notebooks. I think you should use them for some things, but for the most part, I try to stick with vanilla using, you know, just vanilla Python, use idle. some people recommend Anaconda. I don't, but if you want to use it, go ahead. Let's see other things.
Hey, Don, can I interrupt again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Again, I'm just hopping back on here. I personally suggest Google Colab. If anybody here is familiar with that, I have personal experience with that. I still use it today. That's the best amount of luck they've ever had with any, package, I would say dependencies and things like that. They tend to keep the environment updated as long as you're using the base. But Google Colab is the biggest tool, in my opinion, that you can use to help you build your models, especially if you're using TensorFlow and things like that that are, come out of the Google brain group. So, and that's all within the same organization at Google that puts out these products. So there's a lot less issues within a Jupyter notebook within Anaconda. And like Dr. Wedding has suggested before, Jupyter notebook direct from your computer is the best rather than going through Anaconda if you can avoid it. But those are just some other pieces of advice that I would give to help you on your journey here.
Thanks, Logan. Yeah, Google Colabs. I'm not super familiar with that stuff. So if you have questions, you might want to go with Logan on those ones. Let's see, the course, I have it broken down into exploring and transforming your data. We've got some tree models, we've got regression models, neural networks, and then other topics. Oh, do I have a question? Oh, okay.
I have a question, Don.
Go ahead.
It's probably not fair or even answerable, but is there, for the average student with the average skill set in Python, is there a range that you think these assignments take every 2 weeks, like in terms of hours? And the reason I ask is because I would sure like to get bonus points and do R, but I'm already stressing about just being able to do it in Python. And I will tell you that in my last class, which was 411, I spent like 30, 35 hours on projects. They were due every 2 weeks. I just wondered if you kind of give us some kind of idea of what we're looking at.
I don't have an answer to that because I've never asked the students, but I made these projects very doable. And then I give you like 2 weeks to do them. And it probably doesn't, I'm getting an echo. So maybe put yourself on mute. Testing 1, 2, 3, perfect. Okay, so I have, the short answer is I don't think this stuff is going to be brain surgery. I mean, I tried to keep this stuff as crisp and I try to make everything as extremely generic as possible. I don't like to use exotic Python code and little functions that, I prefer to do something that's maybe a little bit less efficient, but more understandable. I don't like it when people write code to show you how smart they are. I like to make it readable. So my code that you're going to see is going to be very readable. It's going to be a very doable project. The short answer is, even if you can't redo any of these in R, there's lots of bonus opportunities. For example, you can do Logan's TED Talk and you get bonus points that way. If you go and, let's say you're doing, like I had those bonus assignments, principal component analysis, clustering, transformation. Those things, that's 25, 25, 25. That's 75 points right there. So I tried to make this class, you could take this in a lot of different ways. And I just tried to make it so that people who are advanced are not just, bored to tears. You can keep pushing yourself. Let's see. We have 450 points of assignments, 100 points of discussion boards, and we've got a final exam. It's proctored, and again, I don't have a lot of control over that. So it's a proctored final. They said I have to do it and it's got to be worth 50 points. That's it. This is not one of these. It's a trap. This is real. If a fellow student offers you assistance, let me know and I will consider awarding them bonus points. This is not a trap to say, oh yeah, I'm going to go and nab this guy for academic dishonesty. It has to be legitimate help. You can't just say, well, he helped me indent my program. no, if you are totally lost and you go to your friend Fred and Fred says, oh, let me explain this to you. And then you send me an email and you say, hey, this is Joe. Fred really helped me. I was totally lost. Fred helped me. He walked me through it, helped me debug this. I might give Fred, 10, 15 points. Okay. So, but I can't do it unless you tell me. Now, of course, use some common sense. Don't say, Fred let me copy his program. And that's common sense here. Logan, incidentally, while I'm doing this, can you monitor the chat window and make sure that I'm not missing any? I see some chats there.
Yeah, no, it's all good, Dr. Wedding. It's just me making some additional comments here. And
Okay,
I was gonna
perfect.
say, John, Dr. Wedding here is a huge proponent of making sure everybody succeeds. If you put forth the effort, I don't foresee a reason why people can't get an A in this class, especially with the bonus opportunities and things like that. 410, 411, they've been redone since I've done it. And I know that the ask in those classes is much higher than what it used to be. And from what I hear from students and what I see with code and stuff like that, you can spend anywhere from, realistically, if you put good effort towards it, 10, 15 hours, max, I would say, up to 30, 40 if you want to build out your program and do something exotic or do it within Go or do some other language for bonus points. But I would say just make sure that, everyone here, you hop on your assignments, as soon as you can. Don't wait until the Friday, Saturday before it's due. Just give yourself some time to get it done and work through it, and then send me if you have questions and we'll help you through it. It's not extremely difficult. That's the only piece of advice I would give that from my perspective.
Thanks, Logan. That's, again, start early. Grading scale, this is what it is. So as soon as you get 558 points, you got an A. You could theoretically stop working at that point. I wouldn't. Sometimes I had students, when this was on a 1,000 point scale, I would have students, keep going and doing all this stuff, and they'd have like 1,500 points, insane, but they were just loving it and they would learn so much. So the success in this class is to get every assignment done. Let's see, anything else? That's pretty much it for the syllabus. Let's see, anything else?
Hey, Don, we got a question here from Chris.
Okay, go ahead.
Hey, sorry, I didn't want to totally interrupt you, but with regard to the bonus assignments, the Unit 99 and Unit 4 bonus, would you recommend any of them in particular doing in parallel with Units 1 through 3, or work through 1 through 4 and then take on the additional ones as you have time?
Some of those, the 99 guys, the 399 assignments, K-means or whatever, those ones, I would try to do those early, like right after you do Unit 1, if you can, because what you use in there, you could apply to the trees, to the regression, and to the neural networks. So if you get done really early, dive on one of those things. Don't let those ones go to the very end. But as far as the ones with the neural networks, the Unit 4 bonus, let those ones go to the very end. But I did find my cat dog one. I'll show you that shortly. I'm going to try to go quick so I can at least show you and amaze you of what you can accomplish in this class. Oh, also, Python being an open source language, they change it and they don't care about backward compatibility. So sometimes some of my code magically stops working from one quarter to the next. It'll be some little rinky-dink thing that like, it used to be predict, prob, now it's just predict. Well, if you find a bug and you fix it and post it here, or let's say you write some really cool code and you say everybody should have a copy of this and give it to their loved ones for Christmas. If you put something like that out here, you post it here, I will say bingo and give you bonus points. Okay. Let's see, let's just do one of these real fast. I showed you the lectures. I've got some external videos that, every now and then I find something and I say, well, here, this is something I found was useful on YouTube or whatever. I'll put them here. If you find something that you think we just have to put in there, send it to me and I'll include it. Then we have the assignments. And here is your assignment for 1, data preparation. Okay, I've got a data set for you, and I've got a data dictionary. And this is going to be who's going to default on a loan. You know, this is who's not paying me back. And then, you know, the assignment is you're going to download this thing. You're going to read it into Python. You're going to explore, give me some graphs, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, you're going to give me the code. Give me some of the output. I would prefer it in a PDF format because then I can open it up really fast. And also, I don't want you to just throw a bunch of output into a file and then walk away. In a real world, you're going to have to do a little bit of interpretation. Maybe, you know, just talk, give me a few paragraphs on what you observed, enough to show me that you didn't just copy, run, and dump it into a PDF and walk away. Give me some interpretation of what you found. Okay, I'm not here to play gotcha, but I'd like you to show me that you thought about it, because a lot of times analytics people don't realize that it's not just when you get into the real world, you're going to build models, and then all of a sudden your boss is going to say, okay, now what does that mean? How do I make money with that? And you're like, I don't know, I just build the models. Well, you're not going to hold a job very long because your boss is going to want you to give them more than just a model. Also, here's some bonus for other languages and bonus for anything else. If you can think of something really cool that I didn't think of, put it in there. And again, put a great big sign that says bonus with, you know, arrows pointing to it and a, you know, paragraph on the back of each one and a circles and arrows, or however the Alice's restaurant joke goes, but you get it. Here, this is what I want you to hand in. And again, I would really, really like it if it's PDF because I can open those things. Let's see. I also have discussion boards. I try to make the discussion boards to be fun and interesting, okay? And if you really put some time and effort into your discussion boards, then what I'll do is I might give you bonus points for that. Just 1 or 2 here and there for extra effort. And also there's a multiple choice quiz throughout here, throughout the class, and at the end of each section. So the quizzes, you know, again, if you followed along, I'm not here to play, you know, gotcha, but if you didn't watch any of the lectures and you didn't do any of the work, you're going to find them to be challenging, but otherwise it should be really straightforward.
Are these time bound?
Yeah. What was that?
Are the quizzes time bound, or
I don't
can you
know.
keep it open for a long time?
Let's find out. No time limit. Look at that. So you should be done with these things inside of 10 minutes, but no time limit. I'm a really nice guy.
You are.
Okay. And let's see, that's about it. I mean, let me show you. I think I found my, let me show you the dog cat guy. Okay, menu. I'm going to show you guys hopefully what you can accomplish. Now, this menu program, I'm using a library called PyQt5. And that's if you really want to explore that, you can. Here we go. Okay, PyQt5. Okay, now here we go. I'm going to show you this and then we're going to get out of here. It's in Jupyter, TensorFlow, data, cat, dog. There it is. Okay, so I've got, if you have Python, you can save a model as a Pickle file. So I'm going to dump this Pickle file in there, and here's the model parameters. Okay, now all I'm going to do is I'm going to dump a picture of a cat here. And it says that there's a 100% probability that this is a cat. And if everybody's got a picture of here's another one, 96% chance that's a cat. Let's see if there's a hard one here. Here, this cat's in a cage. That's a cat. Oh, look, I missed that one. It says this guy's a dog. See, so neural networks aren't perfect, but you can see that's kind of a cool thing. Wouldn't it be neat that you can, here's a dog. Let's see if I can get, this dog got marked as a cat. So then again, this is not perfect. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was a dog. This was a cat. Apparently dogs are a little harder. Pink is dog. So that's a dog. That's a dog. So anyways, I also have another one that I took the same exact code and I trained it on a different data set for a company I was consulting with called Convatec. And I had moles, pictures of like skin lesions. And is this mole melanoma or is it just a benign skin mole? So it was the exact same code, only instead of dogs and cats, it was, infected moles and non-infected moles. And I won't show you what that looked like because it wasn't pleasant to look at. But anyways, you could take this kind of code and you can, and we're going to do this in the class except for the menu. But if you want some free bonus points, do the menu. So anyways, I got nothing else. We got 10 minutes left. I'll answer a few questions. And if not, we can, anybody who wants, I sent out the link to the capstone course and you are welcome to attend that. Does anybody have any questions, comments, or, anything like that?
I have a question, Doctor.
Incidentally, you guys can call me Don if you want, but call me whatever you want, okay? If you don't feel comfortable, you call me Dr. Wedding if you want, but I go by Don.
Okay, I'll call you Don then. Thank you. One of my other classes is the applications engineering. And so one of the things that I have in mind for the software is basically like a remote sensing for satellite imagery through like, predictive factors, machine learning and whatnot. Do you have any kind of like guidance in terms of packages or any like either like geospatial packages that I could use or or actually machine learning models that I should be using for things like that?
Well, my guess is the ones that we're talking about in the class are the tried and true. Everything else builds off of that, trees, random forest, gradient boosting, neural networks, and regression. So that's all the big ones right there. Now, that's the foundation. Now, I'm sure that Python's a huge language, and I'm sure that there's probably about, 50 neural networks or 50 different types of trees or this or that. There's a lot of libraries out there, but the stuff that you're starting with here is likely to at least give you a good starting off point. Now, the trick is if you got this geospatial kind of data, it's not the model. It's not a neural network isn't the answer to your question. The answer to your question is you got this data set and you somehow have to convert it into a format that the neural network can consume. So that's kind of what we do with the dog cat problem is we take this picture of a dog cat, we convert it into ones and zeros. That can be consumed by a random forest or a neural network or whatever. So my suspicion is once you get to the neural network stuff with the dogs and the cats, you're going to be able to find a lot of code there that will be something that you can do with what you're doing in this other class. You can cannibalize a lot of that code. It will be probably, I would just do a Google search on that type of data and they'll tell you some kind of library, that Python library that will help you convert that into data, but it will be conversion to data that's the winner for you. Does that make sense or did I?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because I watched one of your I was watching one of your lectures before I started on the on the assignment. It makes a lot of sense, and I skipped ahead to actually because I was very curious about the cat and dog model and everything, and I looked through and I understand the mapping, the filtering that goes through ones and zeros and kind of all of that. So yeah, and I see Chris put something in there, Folium for interactive mapping. Okay, I'll definitely look into that. I appreciate that, Chris, and thank you, Dr. Wedding or Don. Thank you, Don.
Okay, we got a few seconds left, but we got 7 minutes, and I think that Catherine LaPetri has a question. Catherine, you have been quiet. I want to hear from you. Any questions?
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. What's your question, Catherine?
Well, I didn't have any prepared.
You don't have to prepare one. I'm trying to engage you. I'm trying to engage students by randomly calling them out.
Okay.
No, you don't, no pressure if you think about it, but you're welcome to ask a question. So instead, Chris Lunger is right next to Catherine LaPetri on my thing here. So Chris, you got a question, don't you?
Sure, I can make one up on the spot.
Okay.
Would you, I guess, you've included the textbooks as reference material, not necessarily as primary resources in this course, but are there any texts among those, I think 3 or 4 that you listed, that you think might be good just to have cracked open next to 1 or 2 of the projects for some more in-depth, like technical detail about a particular model or approach to a modeling technique, something like that?
To be honest, no.
Okay. Okay.
I think the lectures that I gave will explain the stuff, and we are now living in an age where the moment that textbook is hot off the press, it's obsolete. You are better off looking on Google and YouTube and places like that, because you are always going to get latest and greatest stuff. People put great content out there, and it's going to very soon be that universities are obsolete. I mean, except for Northwestern, that's forever. But it's quite frankly, I was a guy, I had a whole bookshelf of books, and I've been giving them away right and left. In fact, I'll probably take some photographs of my books and say who wants them, and I'll send them to you. The books are becoming obsolete, and I do not want you spending your money on it. But you are also in graduate school, so you know your learning style. Some people need a book. They love it. If that's your learning style, don't listen to me. You do what you know is going to work for you.
Yeah, I'm very learned by doing, so that's a
Okay.
welcome approach.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's see. And one last question. Anybody want, or I'm going to volunteer somebody. Any last questions? Are you taking the class? Oh, no, I'm just reading through the. Okay, I got nothing else. I'm going to volunteer Sebastian Ricketts. Talk to me, Sebastian. Any questions?
No questions. Just, I guess it'll be pretty self-explanatory as to what you're expecting as far as output. I get that we'll be providing the code. Are you expecting like a two-page write-up on what we got out of it, a bunch of graphs? I mean, what are you?
Well, I'd like some graphs to show that they work. I'd like to see output that says that, yeah, this code worked without any bugs. I want to know that. I want to see some output. Show me some graphs. You don't have to put all of them in there, just enough that I'm convinced that you had some graphs. And then give me enough thought into the interpretation of what you saw. You know, if you put a page in there, that's fine. But I don't want you to end up, you know, knocking yourself out on this stuff. My goal is I want you to be writing code from beginning to end, get all the assignments done, and I want you to at least do enough interpretation that I'm convinced that you aren't just pushing a button, dumping it into a document and moving on. You got it in a corporate world, you have to interpret it. Give me some interpretation to show me that you've put thought into that, okay? Nicole has her hand up. Nicole, talk to me.
Yeah, I actually had a question about data visualizations. So I was going through the assignment and going through the variables that are floats and integers. I wanted to see how the variables that are floats looked like on a box plot, but whenever I plotted them, it would be blank. And I wasn't sure if it was because they're still missing values there, or if there's something else that I might have made a mistake on.
a box plot. Let me see. I'd have to see the code that you have. Does it work with, it should work with the floating point values. It might be the missing values, but I don't know that off the top of my head. I thought that you can give it the missing values and it just ignores it. I'd have to see the code that you have, but that's, again, if you start having problems with that, start off watching the videos, go through what I'm teaching, and then if you have issues, send them to me or Logan. Oh, also, guys, I'm gone all next week, but I will have limited access, but I'll try to get log in. I'm up at the top point of Michigan, so I don't know how good the internet is there, but I will try to log in. But Logan's going to field questions if I can't. So, but the two of us will. But Nicole, make sure you watch those videos and then contact me with questions, okay? And or Logan. Does that
Okay.
help?
It does. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, guys, I have to dump off this because I got another class in exactly 1 minute. So I'm going to let you go. It was a pleasure talking to everybody, and good luck and enjoy the class.
Thank you.
Thank you.